in this that I love more in this world than seeing my mom on the floor. My mom falling is one of my top 3 favorite things. She's
This I
always
know.
got she's always got a reason to be on the floor. It's never gracious. But it never happened. It never happened. She gets back up like it never fucking happened.
What he saw.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Pretty much.
Pretty
yeah.
much.
Yeah. I saw her roll down a hill once, and then I was at the bottom of the hill already. I was waiting in my car, and she popped back up, came over, came to say hi to me, and her glasses were like that on her head still.
Yeah, and it's not the first time or the last time.
Nope.
I think the first recollection of her falling in my brain, I was in like first grade. And she fell walking from the school to the car. It was great.
Sounds about right. Lots of memories of her on the floor.
Yeah. Lots. All right. What's up? Let's start off the episode. Like, before we start off the episode, what's the funniest thing that's ever happened to your parents? Like, you can recall. Something that is obviously safe that you can think of that made you laugh.
One time, my dog got out, and in Puerto Rico, you know how you have the garage inside the house kind of thing.
Right.
And then the gate for the outside of the garage was open, and she used to run and just get lost. So she ran after the dog, like, oh my God. And then she's kind of bending over to catch the dog while she was running, and then she just hit the wall with her head.
Oh.
Just got a little bump, but it was funny afterwards. She even laughed.
That's good. That's good.
That's funny. That pretty much almost, and this is not my parents, this is me. I have a scar right here in between my eyebrows. One of my eyebrows is actually looks messed up because of the scar. Because we were at a birthday party, and I don't know if you guys remember these like little lawnmowers that had bubbles coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 90s. I know. I look Mexican. I was playing with a lawnmower, whatever.
Remembers.
Yeah. But so I was playing with one, and this kid took it from me. So I started chasing him. The grass was wet. He took a corner. I tried to take the corner, slid into a wall, and broke my head open. It was the next thing I remember after hitting the wall was in the car holding the piece of paper with blood. The next thing I remember was when they'd taken the stitches out. There's a week that I don't remember.
You know, I've been wondering how you got that scar for the past 20 years of my life.
Yeah, and then I have another scar on my nose that was our cousin, Jose. We were fighting. I was chasing him. And I stopped chasing him, so I laid on the ground, just like, well, whatever. He had a dustpan, and he grabbed the dustpan and hit me right on the nose with it.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. On that note, do you guys watch Daredevil last week, the finale?
No.
No? Well, if you guys didn't, for our viewers, if you didn't, there is spoilers. So
Guys, welcome to the Nerd Archive podcast.
Yeah.
The little guy, Bilbo or Pippin, whatever the hell his name is.
Nintendo fans, I see a lot of people getting, just freaky corner.
I still love that intro.
It's pretty good.
What's going on, guys? My name is Louis. As always, I have Lola, Justin, and Yadi. This is the Nerd Archive podcast. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. So grab your snacks, grab your drinks, sit down, get comfortable because we have a lot to talk about. Starting with, well, one of the things that we're going to be talking about. What's up?
Based on what we're talking about with Daredevil, I think this also applies.
The following contains violence, coarse language, and adult situations not suitable for minors. Viewer discretion is advised.
I feel like all of our episodes, we need that. So, we're going to talk about Daredevil Born Again finale. We're going to talk about, what was the other two things? Help me out.
A whole bunch of crap at
nonsense.
Star Wars Celebration.
Yep.
And the newest Fantastic Four First Steps trailer.
Which, after watching this trailer, the name actually has a lot more meaning. First Steps. So, with that being said, what about that finale? I know we're a week late, but I don't care. To me, it was great writing. Like, it picked up and it got better as it went. And now I'm excited for season 2.
Yeah, me too.
It was definitely good writing. That was definitely the best episode in the series. Not the season overall, not terrible, but I'm just going to say it doesn't live up to the Netflix series, but it tries.
I enjoyed
How
it
many-
thoroughly.
Way better.
How many? But here's the thing. I think that it had good, like it developed very good. It didn't feel rush. It didn't feel like. And granted, it's probably because they already knew they were going to do a season 2, so they knew they didn't have to rush it. They could. They knew that they could leave us with a cliffhanger and not be worried that people were going to be like, okay, when is it going to come out? Is it ever going to come out? So I think that it had good pacing. The only downside, I think, was what am I looking at?
You're so blurry and pixelated.
Plus, you're way out of sync. Like your connection is
Got no rhythm.
nothing.
You ain't got no rhythm.
I guess my pacing is wrong.
Yeah, but isn't that an everyday thing for him?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just going to turn off my Wi-Fi on my phone just to take something off the...
I mean, it's already looking a little bit better.
Yeah, I just disconnected one thing off the Wi-Fi and see if that works. Because there's a bunch of things connected to the Wi-Fi right now, so...
Well, I can see your features now. You don't look like a Minecraft character, so we're doing
Whoa,
better.
fantastic.
Don't move too
Fantastic.
fast. Don't move too fast.
Well, the new Minecraft movie came out, so...
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Daredevil.
No, but I wanted to stay with the current themes out in the world right now. It was a filter that I put on. Thank you very much. I do think the only thing I have to complain about this show is how dirty they did Muse. Because Muse, if you read the comic books, Muse is the equivalent to the Joker. He wasn't so serious. He is a like a character driven by mayhem. He just wants to destroy things, have fun.
Well, not just that, but he was a lot stronger in the comics than he was in this series. Like he was technically superhuman, and they really just they severely watered down his character and just turned him into just an absolute joke. Like I honestly don't know what the hell they were thinking.
Maybe
I just think that
yet. We don't know.
17 gunshots to his chest, I think.
No, he's
superhuman.
finished. No, the way they wrote him in this series.
I saw him twitching, so like he might be alive.
Did you, or is it maybe your Wi-Fi was a little
It's pixelated.
Yeah.
It could be, or to quote Gimli, that's because he's got my axe embedded in his nervous system.
But I do think that is the only thing that I have to like complain about the show. To me, every single episode left me with what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I was right there as well. I really enjoyed this season.
I
Really
wasn't.
enjoyed the season. I like the chaos. I like the darker side of Matt Murdock.
Yeah, I did like the parallel between Murdoch and Kingpin. It like whenever you saw one of them having issues, like trying not to be their old self, that internal battle, the other one would be having the same thing. The one character I hated the most was Daniel. His right-hand man in the office.
Oh,
Fuck Daniel. He pissed me the fuck off.
the Italian dude?
Yeah. Do you know he's the Sopranos kid? What's his name?
Okay, that makes sense. I was gonna say, like, this reminds me of like old school mafia. It's straight up, and then you got this guy like the way he speaks, the way he carries himself is very old school mafia.
Well, his dad is Tony Soprano.
You talking about that Gen Z wannabe mafia kid that blackmails the
BB reports.
writer? Yeah. I didn't like his character either. Honestly, for that fact, like most of the side characters were fucking useless the way they were written. How do you honestly? What was even the point of having anything? Having them? What was the point of their characters entirely? Like his new partner and his fucking girlfriend basically spend half the series bitching at him for one reason or another, and his new fucking contact who used to be a police officer, spent half the series saying, "Oh, this isn't a good idea. What are you doing? Why aren't you doing this?" Instead of actually helping him.
That I do agree with. Like every time we saw the ex cop, there was no point to the story. Where you taking a bath?
With a chair?
She puts the chair right next to the bathtub so she can put her iPad and watch it. But that's not the point. Well, sorry. But I hated Daniel. I hated Daniel, his face, everything about him.
I agree.
Like,
I wanted to punch him constantly. Every time he showed up, it was like every time he told Fizz, like, I love you, I want to be you, I can be everything you need me. It's like, shut the hell up.
His
face.
Shut
up. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see you.
His facial expressions, the way he carried himself, the way he tried to be I guess he tried to emulate his idol and boss, the Kingpin. You know, you cannot take a character like that serious.
No.
It's impossible to take him serious. And like Lola said, you desperately want to punch him in the face as hard as you can.
Anybody that's trying to like try as hard as he's trying to be somebody else that's not himself, I just want to immediately punch them in the face. Especially when I tell them like I understand like idolizing somebody and being like, listen, man, I love you. I love everything you do. I love your work. Sure, move on with your life. But telling him every single episode, I love you.
But because he would mess up every single episode.
Excessive.
And
I know.
he's like apologizing every single episode. I'm so sorry. 1 second. Jared, what's going on? Sorry, I didn't see your comment. How are you doing? But it's just, I guess he's a good actor because when you see a character that you hate so much, it's not because they're bad actors. It's you hate the character. You don't hate the actor.
Mm-hmm.
And which is great because going back to who his father is, his father is James Gandolfini. He plays Tony in The Sopranos. He's the main mafia guy. However, which he's a great actor. Rest in peace. 12 years ago, but I hated his character. Yadi, did you have a character that you hate? Like every time they were on screen, you're like, motherfucker.
Like in this show?
In this show, yeah.
No.
Okay.
I am not that. I'm not looking for the bad things in the show.
No. I wasn't looking for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wasn't looking for anything else besides what can happen next. So I wasn't really paying attention if I hated a character or not.
And
don't
so
get me wrong,
when
it's
I
not
hated
like a negative. It's not necessarily a negative on my side. I love to hate. So it's like,
that's the thing. Yeah, that's not my nature.
It wasn't like his character was a bad character. It's that during the show, I'm like, this motherfucker, I hate him.
Oh yeah.
Like why do I hate him so much? He keeps doing stupid shit that I hate.
Well, like you said, that's how you know that the actor plays their part as well as they do.
Yeah.
It makes you absolutely despise the character, and it works. And you have that in just about every franchise, almost every franchise that you can think of. You know, I mean, it's easy to pick examples out. You have Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter.
I was gonna say Umbridge. Everybody fucking hates Umbridge, but then like she's a great actress. And then she did what was the series that she did that she played the Queen?
The Crown.
Right.
Crown.
So yeah, so it's like it's definitely the mark of a good actor that you can that can get you to hate a specific character. Another example, Joffrey Baratheon in Game of Thrones.
I was thinking Cersei
Lannister, yes, in Game of Thrones as well. Like those two characters are some of the most hated characters in that entire franchise.
Well, okay. Who now that Yadi asked in this show, now I want to know, let's steer off real quick. Who is the one character that you hate the most? Not in this show. Like whenever you watch something, you go back to watching it, you see this character, and you're like, fuck this dude.
I think
or this dudette.
So I have three. It's a tie for first place for Umbridge and Cersei because fuck them both. And then the third one, I'm about to out myself. I told Trey not to tell anybody. We've been watching Walking Dead.
So has Sophia. That's funny.
We keep watching the same thing.
Yeah, Sophia came today from school and she's like, I had some free time after a project and I was watching The Walking Dead. on her phone.
We
Mm.
started
Okay.
watching Supernatural at the same time, and then as soon as we finished that, we haven't finished it, but we
You
take
two
a
are
break from
connected.
it. We are. She's
She's your
my
bestie.
baby. So is
Okay.
JoJo, of course.
I'm gonna
Anyways,
take a guess and say it's either Negan or the governor from I think
it's the
like
governor. Fuck that hoe.
fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. From I think it was season 3 or
3
4, I forget.
That's as far as we've gotten, so please no spoilers. I'm actually really
No. I've
enjoying
only seen up to like a little ways through season 4, but then I haven't seen it in so long. I'd have to start over, and I'm like, I don't even know if I'm interested in starting over.
It's pretty good. But yeah, it's the fucking governor. Fuck that hoe. Yeah, fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck his entire family. I hate him.
All right, Yadi. So I know that you don't look for someone to hate, but there's got to be a character at some point in any franchise you've ever seen that you're like, this motherfucker.
I don't like him.
Or at the very least, a character that you just don't care for all that much.
Malfoy's dad. What's his name?
Oh, Lucius.
Lucius. Yes.
Look at you
Yes, that
being
one.
all like, when we first started this show, you didn't even know anything about Harry Potter, and now you're like, this guy.
I thought you were talking
am-
to me. I was like, what?
Yeah.
No, not you.
That shirt he's wearing, but he doesn't know anything about Harry Potter. No, not at all.
He just wants to look cool.
Yeah.
I get it. So, Lucius,
Yeah.
That's a
think-
fair answer.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Since I got to see more of him than that professor,
Umbridge.
yeah, I think he's over her. Especially
That's
the way
fair.
he treated Dobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. That, I think just that makes it even worse.
When
Yadi,
he
have
kicked him
you-
up the stairs?
Have you read the books?
I have not.
Okay. So if you ever happen
I will
to
buy
it-
them though.
or read the audiobooks or hear the audiobooks, I guess. You might develop some anger issues during the Umbridge ones.
Well, yeah, I mean, she is also not.
He gets
She's over
It's
that
so
list,
much
at least.
worse.
Yeah, and then I'm excited for the new shows coming to see more of this story.
Yeah, me too. Ish.
What about you, Justin?
At this point, to be honest, I'd say Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
She's an easy character to hate, and I mean, based on just from how they played her in the series. So
I've never seen Game of Thrones, so I take your word for it.
you really should.
That's
Ah.
another
should.
bitch you're gonna want to deck in the face.
Well, I mean, since you haven't started it, and I'm assuming you haven't started watching House of the Dragon, I would probably wait until they at least finish that, and that series finally completes, since that takes place before it, and
Right.
then just go through everything. And I mean, yeah, you'll probably hate certain characters, and then certain character deaths will probably piss you off as well. And then, of course, I guarantee you're gonna absolutely hate season 8 in its entirety.
That's the general consensus, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Season 7 wasn't all that great either, but
Yeah, but you could
was
technically
watchable.
just finish it at season 7 and call it a day.
season 7 was a slow, like a bit of a spiral downwards. Season 8 was a fucking dive off a cliff. It's like
Well, I'll take your word.
Yeah, they didn't finish the slide the rest of the way down, and then just like, oh, here's season 8.
Just took an elevator down.
No, they cut the
And the elevator
cables
and
off
the elevators, yeah.
It broke.
Yeah.
Broke.
You guys are gonna be surprised at who my pick is. Frieza. I hate Frieza. Not I hate his character. because first of all, he keeps coming back.
Mhm.
Like, there's so many characters that we can bring back. Like, granted, we brought Cell as Cell Max. Kind of disappointing the way that was played out. However, bringing Cell would have been a lot better in the Terminator power than bringing Frieza. Oh, I digress. Frieza, to me, every time I see him, I want to just turn Super Saiyan, look him in the face, because his character is just. And Lucifer from Supernatural. Like, to the point where I see the actor in something else, and I just still want to dick him in the face.
I dick him?
I was about
Don't
to
care.
say, did I just hear that?
I said Duke, but sure.
Duke? Deck. Deck?
Deck. No,
There you
well,
go.
it doesn't matter. Whatever
Not
it is,
dick,
all
not
of the
Duke.
above. No, don't care. Don't care. All of the
He
above.
hates him so much he's gonna put his penis on his.
So he wants to knock him out and teabag him. Is basically what he's trying to say.
I think he meant like
Badly
back
trying to
then
say.
knock him out.
No.
I don't agree though. I think Lucifer, while he's a little pain in the butt, he is he's got character and he's got consistency. Meanwhile, like I really just hate characters that get away with everything, which is fucking stupid. Like, nobody has that much power. You know what I mean?
I mean, I understand, because he's Lucifer. He has the right to have the power, I guess. But no, it's like his character just pisses me off. I'm like,
That's fair, I guess. I see him more of like a
dick him in the
chaos
face.
maker, almost like Loki-esque, but more
Yeah. Yeah.
no.
Frieza. Let's just stick with Frieza. Let's just stick with Frieza. It's just,
There you
I don't know.
Yeah. Remember when we were going to talk about Daredevil?
We're about to.
Muse.
Which is funny. Well, Muse. Yeah, that pissed me off. How? Whatever. Season finale. This is where the spoilers come through.
go.
Daredevil needs help.
Mm-hmm.
He needs a lot of help. And
He's
I know
an
this is
R&D.
towards the, yeah. He needs bricks of help, sort of like a castle. See what I did there? Frank Castle.
It's better than what I had planned to say. He he needs somebody to punish him.
He needs someone to punish everybody else. We do find out who killed Hector Ayala.
Yep.
We do find out. And
That guy, too.
spoilers right here. If you haven't seen it, this is the moment.
Mhm.
You don't watch. Resume. This cop with the pretty eyes. He's the one that killed Hector Ayala wearing the Punisher vest. I mean, I knew it was one of them.
Mhm.
My money was on the guy that the guy that his partner got killed by Hector Ayala.
Yeah.
That's who I thought it was. But it was, but also at the same time, I'm like, that's too easy. So
Yeah.
I was going with your theory, Lola, that maybe the Punisher was like a slave of Kingpin of some sort.
So it's funny because I said that, then we watched the next episode, and he did in fact have a slave. It just wasn't Frank Castle.
Right.
Yeah.
Which explained his bruising and his knuckles and stuff.
Yep. And then the other thing is, I was kind of hoping that they were trying to, with the Punisher logo, that they were just trying to tarnish the Punisher, like just his image and
Name.
who he was and what he stood for and stuff like that. And turns out they're just idolizing him, but like in the wrong way.
Right. They're outlaws
Yeah.
of some sort.
They're focusing on punishment.
They're focusing on punishment, not the
That's
reason
it.
why he does the
Right.
punishing.
Their
And
character, that whole thing, that whole brigade reminds me of like Judge Dredd.
it's funny, we're connected. I said that similar
Sort of.
as well from they weren't into a building and the way that's from a different show. Never mind. Whoops.
I want to know what other show this is. So carry on, explain it.
It's Devil May Cry. Apparently it's based on was it a game?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
It is
so
a game.
watched that season recently, or that new show recently, because there's another one. And there's a scene at some point or another where they go into a building and there's a bunch of demons in there. And they're not bad demons, they're just what's it called? Refugees, essentially. And the top demon, essentially, they close all the doors while all the police officers are inside and they're trying to like fight and look for a specific demon. And it kind of reminds me of that scene in Judge Dredd where he goes into the building, everything, the doors, the windows, everything gets locked down, and so on and so forth.
It's funny, when I go to Savannah, I stay in a Hyatt hotel, and there's a courtyard when you look down from all the rooms, but it's looking into the lobby, and all the levels look like that scene from Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
To me, that's one of the best remakes there's been. Judge Dredd, or Dredd.
Dredd was definitely a better movie than Judge Dredd, because it was a little bit. It was a fair bit more accurate to the comics.
Right.
But
still, it was also in the 80s. So
I mean,
is Thirsty also in the newer one?
I think that if they hadn't have, I mean, it's Sylvester Stallone. He's got to be shown in just about every movie that he's in, which for Judge Dredd makes no sense because the man never takes off his helmet in the comics. Ever.
Like the Mandalorian.
This is the way?
Yep.
Not every Mandalorian, but some.
No, like the Mandalorian show.
No, I get it.
Like he couldn't take his helmet off. However, like I said, their brigades remind me of that. They are the judge. What is it called? The judge, the jury, and the executioner. And that's what they live by. There's no rules for them because Kingpin made sure there was no rules.
Well, it's like that whole scene where the New York's completely in a blackout and they kill a kid that's stealing something, and it's like that was a kid, and he puts his like beanie down and he's like, and now he's a vigilante, let's go.
Right.
It's like, that's not, so they're punishing people, sure. The crime needed to be punished, not by murder though.
Right. But that's also what Dredd is. Like, their punishment is the death penalty, period. So, but also it shows you the difference between the cops, because one is like, what did you do? The other one is like, oh well. So you can see it's the black and white.
Yeah.
So but to me, the most like outrageous scene was the commissioner.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I had read.
That's.
Go ahead.
I had read prior to this. Sorry, go for it.
No, go ahead.
I had read about how this last episode was supposed to be gory, but that's an understatement.
Yeah. Yadi, what did you think of that scene?
This is Disney Plus.
It was like squeezing a melon.
Yep.
just squeezed the hell out of that
Mhm.
guy.
And the thing about that is that when they did it, it wasn't like an explosion.
Nope.
You can see that when he squeezed the head, he like
Yep.
Oh yeah.
and
Skin was falling off and he slipped and just fucked up his jaw instead.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. It's like it caved. It caved his left side of his skull in, and then just completely ripped his jaw off from the opposite side.
Yeah.
Because
Understatement on the gore.
normally
Literally hanging by a thread.
normally we see someone, and because we've seen this before, we've seen someone squeezing someone else's head, and then and it just it caves in
In the
equally
show,
from both sides.
terrifying.
Yeah, in a show.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
see this every day. What do you mean?
Yeah. And, we've seen it in a show or a movie,
Mm.
and it
Yeah,
caves
so-
in equally from both sides. But
Mhm.
you could tell it was like,
Whoops.
whoops, damn. And I was
slipped.
not expecting. I was not expecting
Nope.
that.
All the policemen's like their faces is like,
Hmm.
what do we get into?
Pretty much. And
Yeah.
the one cop that was like
Yep.
about to throw up.
Uh huh.
When he started squeezing his head, I thought, okay, they're gonna switch back to like behind him, and we're just gonna see blood. They're not gonna show it.
No.
I was wrong.
They fucking
Mhm.
show it.
I was wrong. I was very, very, very wrong. But another thing that I remember is Frank Castle shows up. They're like, well, first of all, the episode starts with how it picks up right after the episode before where he's in the hospital because he took a bullet for Kingpin
Mhm.
or Fisk. However, he knows that someone is there to kill him. He escapes before the guy gets there. And then he shows up at his apartment in the blackout, which he doesn't know there's a blackout.
It's every day is a blackout for him.
Yeah, pretty much.
What he did say is like the light of 1,000 suns.
Oh, true.
So it's not blacked out for him. It's just really bright.
Yeah.
But who's there? Mr. Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Daddy Castle.
Mr. Daddy Castle. I kind of really like the relationship between them, the friendship. He's like, what, you're going to fight people? You're going to fight them with your balls out or your butt out or something like that.
Because he had the gown.
Yeah.
So when we see, and right after he says that, you see Matt Murdock like flip him off.
Flip him off, yeah.
Yeah. So the cops show up, and it's the punishing brigade, whatever you want to call it.
Pretty much.
And when they show up, there's a fight. There's a fight. Well, one of them is fighting, the other one is shooting and stabbing
Yeah.
and ripping things off and screaming because there's a lot of grunting.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh,
what
yeah.
are you doing? You turned Super Saiyan, buddy.
He's
Calm down.
angry.
Yeah, well,
Blood
he's
everywhere.
get him.
Kind of like a chihuahua.
Yeah, go get him.
Mhm.
It's more like a Rottweiler.
Well, I was thinking chihuahua because chihuahuas will attack.
Yeah. But we see everybody pass away. There's one left, although this one actually got a shot on Frank, and they decided that they were gonna like, oh, you're gonna shoot me, I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna shoot your leg, and then I'm gonna shoot you, and now you're laying there. And Frank shows him the casing, the bullet casing, and is like, hey, we found him. He did it.
Oh yeah. Well, there was still like 2 or 3 left alive, I think, at that point. And I think that's also when those two got into an argument because it's like, yeah, he was, I mean, Matt was basically just beating these people down while Frank was basically killing everybody that he came into contact with. And then this whole argument ensues because Frank was literally just going right to kill him. But obviously Matt stopped him and it's just like, oh, now you care about this. And then he turns around to one of the other guys that was still alive. It's like, what, you care about this guy? And shoots him in the fucking head.
And then he says, are you going to take a bullet for him too?
Yeah.
So you can see the difference of characters of what they both stand for. And what I mean is what stand for is Matt Murdock stands for something. Punisher is like, they're bad people. I'm going to punish them.
Yeah.
Which
their
is
punishment. Their punishment is different.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Magneto and Xavier.
That's
of that relationship.
The dynamic was definitely
dynamic.
That's a good one.
It's because you have Frank Castle. It's like, I mean, let's fight fire with fire. They kill people. Let's kill them. And then you have Matt. Well, let's just put it in the law in the hands of law.
Right.
And let's see where we can get with that.
Oh yeah, and I mean, you can agree with both sides to a point.
Oh, for sure.
Because you understand the motivation you understand the motivation of each one to do things the way they do.
Right.
You know, and it's you see and you definitely see the struggle in Matt, considering everything that's happened to him over the course of the season.
Well, that's what I mean with like exploring a little bit of the dark side of Daredevil, because now you have a man that used to do good in the suit and that failed him, and it didn't get his best friend killed, but his best friend died while he was wearing the suit. You know what I mean? So wearing the suit,
which we didn't talk about. Which we didn't talk about, the plot twist.
The plot. Well, hold on. And then because that still happened either way. And then you have, let's take it through the justice system, and they did, and he won for like 2 seconds, and then Kingpin was put in a position of power, got to do whatever he, got to do, and then just justice system failed him, not once, but twice, but like 3 times. So now you have a man that has, the choice of like, am I going to continue taking this high road, or am I going to turn into Frank Castle myself? Am I going to let that dark side win?
Right.
So that's interesting as well to explore.
Which makes sense. And at the end of the day, he didn't let it happen.
He didn't let it happen. Yeah.
His beliefs are stronger than his will, or yeah. But what we didn't talk about was in the previous episode, we found out who paid to get Foggy killed. Because that didn't happen in this episode. That happened in the last episode. And we found out right at the end, right before he took that bullet. And there was a whole dancing scene because Matt thought this whole time was Fisk.
Fisk, yeah.
Wrong Fisk. It was his wife. Because he wasn't there. He was MIA. So the one running the show was his wife. Which makes sense. And why? Because they found out that the port had no owner. Like there was no rules, no laws, no nothing that ruled over this port, so they could build whatever they wanted, do whatever they wanted, and it'll be legal because there was no law over it. So that's why, and Foggy found out, or he was going to open a can of worms that he didn't know that was going to happen. So
he was looking to get their entire case dismissed, and they didn't want that to happen. And that call that he got at the beginning of the season was basically he knew that he was about to win that case.
Right. So.
Yeah. So, side note, that's another. So, I don't like Fisk at all. Not because, he's not a good character, but because he's one of those that gets away with everything. And I don't want anything to happen to him. I do want something to happen to his wife, just because he's so devoted. Just so devoted to, and everything that he does for Vanessa. And I
Vanessa,
Vanessa.
I do this for you.
Yeah. I was
And you
hoping.
are a bitch.
You slept with another man. No, but I was really hoping that finale from the second to last episode was Poindexter trying to shoot Vanessa, because then that would have been the icing on the cake. You would have seen Fisk in his almightiness. There's nothing holding him back anymore. There's no like reason to be, continue doing this Mayor Fist stuff. He's just gonna go balls to the walls bad.
Yeah, but also he's selfish. So it came at him and he just said, shut the place down. You try to kill me, which is the only thing I care about other than my own wife.
Yeah.
So, but we find out what happened. We find, was full circle. It goes back to the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think that it was good writing. It wasn't like they left that detail and that whole storyline just disappear and just mention it here and there so people think that we're going somewhere with this, but they actually went back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything connected to it, which was pretty neat, I think.
No, they built off it essentially.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't just show a villain just to show it and
Yep.
get out of the mystery like they did with Muse.
Yeah. I guess Muse was their muse. I was not amused. So, oh man, we lost a viewer as soon as I said that.
I understand their point of view.
You're only still here because you have a show to do.
I have a duty to fulfill.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have just posted.
Yeah, no, done. Done. Talking about characters that I hate. This dude. So we see Fisk go ballistic. He's done. He's done with this whole thing. Like now he has power. He has more power than he's ever had. And now what do we see when he goes down back to his little hideout?
Oh yeah, he takes Vanessa with him.
Yep.
And they both stand right in front of the cell that I forget his name.
Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he held him captive.
Mm-hmm.
But when they're walking through, you see all the millionaires and billionaires from the city
that told him no.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's throwing a hissy fit like a 3-year-old. That's why I hate Fisk. He can't handle the word no.
To him, no means yes.
I'm going to put you in a fucking cage. How about that?
So I was trying to remember where I saw that guy, this sword guy, and that was
the
Echo,
swordsman,
right?
Hawkeye.
Was that an Echo? Hawkeye? Okay.
He's,
that's why I'm mixing it. Okay.
Kate Bishop's stepdad, essentially.
Right. Yep. Okay.
So I think one of the things I didn't expect was Frank Castle to go into the port and by himself and start fighting everybody by himself. And he gets captured. Oh, he did.
Damage, yeah.
Like even the what I would call their leader is the guy, the partner that got killed, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, dude, I lost a lot of dudes because of you. Like just now. Mm-hmm. We idolize you. So do you want to like join us? And he's like, you can all fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not here to join.
You know my pain?
Yeah. He's broken.
He's been broken.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I'm just pointing it out.
He
He's
just seems
broken.
extra broken this
Mm.
season, though. Even
Yeah.
the first time they showed him, he was like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah."
Well,
Yeah,
I think that he's. Go ahead.
he says it a little bit. I think he says like whatever he does, nothing is gonna bring back
Yeah,
everybody
correct.
he lost. So he's just
Right.
giving up,
Mhm.
basically, but still trying to get as many villains, or as many bad people as he can
Because
to make it right. But
his show was revenge. The
right.
first season. And then the second season was, okay, I'm going to take this as I'm going to be a vigilante now and I'm going to punish everybody that is bad. But in this one, it's like, I'm having fun.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because
He's giving up
You
in
get a
life
bullet
too.
and
Like,
you
Yeah.
get a bullet.
he's given up in life. He went in there with just one purpose.
Mhm.
Let me see how many bodies I can take before they take me. It was more of a I've been watching John Wick and he has a lot of body count. I'm gonna put it up there. He's got 4 movies though. 5 now, I guess. So
Plus a spin-off that he's apparently supposed to appear in.
yeah. Ballerina.
Mhm.
Yeah. With Ana de Armas. So in conclusion, how do you guys feel about this episode? Did we talk about it all? Well, except for the ending, I guess.
Mm.
Oh yeah, the post-credit scene where they pass through.
Well, before the post-credit scene, the scene in the bar.
Oh yeah,
With Karen and all that.
I need an army, and he walks out into the bar where he's got like a few cops and some of
The
the side
bartender and
characters
Karen.
and the bartender and
I was
Karen. I'm just like,
I was
eh.
expecting Luke Cage,
A lot of people were.
Danny Rand,
Yeah.
Jessica
was-
Jones.
that was underwhelming, to be perfectly honest.
Mhm.
I was like, what do you need the army for? Cleaning the bar? Because that's all you're going to get done.
Bouncers.
Yeah.
We also didn't talk about how his girlfriend now joined Fisk.
Yeah.
"Quote unquote mental health." Get the fuck out of here, Fisk. Mental health.
What does he have planned? Because that seems a little odd that's his.
Yeah.
controlling
Well-
him emotionally.
I think so. I think it is a form of control essentially, and just playing with his feelings. But what that bitch don't know, because she's a bitch, she immediately left. Just first of all. um no, it
There
irks
you
me
go, a
that she's
character you
like,
hate.
no, I just like eh.
Well, if it goes the same way as it goes in the comics, the way her character in the comics goes, she's not long for this world. She's going to die.
Good. Anyways,
So,
Good.
well, I mean,
Moving on.
nothing of value is going to be lost anyway, because her character was about as useless as in the comics as she is in this fucking show. So
well, that's what I mean. Like, she started a relationship, and then this guy's like, "Hey, he's actually a really bad man." And don't get me wrong, I understand if you want to give the other person the benefit of the doubt, but like, proceed with caution. You did tell this
Mhm.
man that you love him, so like, show some
Right.
trust in what he's telling you.
Which means you trust him, which means maybe I should trust what he's saying. And if he's
Right.
wrong, then
Then
he's wrong.
But at least give him the benefit of the doubt. But
I
then
think what
the other thing,
yeah.
go for it.
I think what did is when he woke up,
And he was like, Karen.
he said Karen. I think that's what
Well,
did it
that's
for
my
her.
thing. That's my thing. So she can go fuck herself, because you know what? Karen's back in town, and you know who has his heart? Karen.
Yeah, but it also looked like Frank Castle had her heart too.
yeah,
Well,
there was
he
some
had
tension
something. I
between
don't know
those
if her
two.
heart.
There was some tension between those two.
It's
and Matt Murdock realized it too.
he did talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, he has She-Hulk.
I mean,
We're not
She-Hulk.
no. Nope.
She-Hulk had that happened in a comic book too. She took a lot of bodies, more than John Wick. You know what I mean? Because She-Hulk, even Captain America, in the comic books.
Captain what?
Captain America.
Okay. You just said Captain America.
I'm sure that's what she was saying. Well,
And if that was the case, it probably would have been better than that fucking Disney Plus show.
I like the Disney Plus show.
Oh, that Disney Plus show is fucking garbage.
Eh.
I enjoyed it.
We know your
And
feelings.
the
Yeah.
and the viewership reflects it. And apparently, the viewership for Daredevil: Born Again is endemic of a larger fucking problem that a lot of people seem to have with Marvel. They're going downhill fast.
Yeah, it's just the crybabies that, you know.
No, it is the vast majority of
Yeah.
the old comic book fans that they pushed out, and
Yeah, the
they're
crybaby.
losing money. No,
Yeah.
trust me, you're not. It's gonna wind up affecting. It affected Captain America because that movie did not break even, and now it's already on streaming services. It never would have hit stream. You know, a movie has failed, especially in its theater run, if it immediately hits fucking streaming services the second it, while it's still trying to perform in theaters, and it's
We're
going to
advanced.
become it's gonna become a problem with Thunderbolts, and it will become a problem with Fantastic Four. Mark my words.
And I mock me.
Mock me.
Listen, I understand what you're saying, but you're talking about you're talking about viewership shown with She-Hulk, how bad it was, and you didn't enjoy it, but you enjoyed this one, and it was a better show, and the viewership still showed that people didn't want to watch it. So I understand what the viewership is.
Mhm.
I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed She-Hulk for what it was. I knew that I wasn't going to expect a lot from it. So I just, okay, it's going to be entertaining. It is what it is. I wasn't expecting her or her character or this show to move the MCU to where it needed to be. It was never going to happen, regardless of how good the show was. Unless they brought in like the Hulk and then they were fighting this big bad, and that was never going to happen.
Like Harlem.
They should still be able to do something, make something compelling that is going to bring people in. You want to get people excited enough to spend the money to go see these movies in theaters, to subscribe to Disney Plus and get people back into it, and they're not doing that. This first season had less viewers than the fucking Acolyte, had less viewers than the Ahsoka series.
And I completely get it. And this is not you, but I think people are still holding on to the first 10 years of the MCU. And because now we're seeing different characters than what we used to have, they still think that it's never going to be better than what it used to be because now we don't have those characters. That's what people are latching onto. They're latching onto these characters that eventually they were going to leave. And people are not seeing that. People they're comparing it to something else that we saw the building of. We saw something that was being done pretty much for the first time. Yeah, we've had superhero movies in the past, but never something that all these movies connected to, like to one thing. And now we had a full decade of the same thing. It's going to be hard to replicate that. So now when I go to the movies, I try to like, okay, let's see what they bring. Is it going to be something new? Is it going to be something from like the same of the old thing? I don't really care anymore about if we get to see the same characters again. I love being entertained. And yeah, I'm a person that likes to see and spot things that are wrong, but at the same time, it doesn't steer me away from watching a show or a movie. What if you don't grab my attention in the first 10 minutes? I'm done. I'm done with it. And it's not that I don't have an attention span, a short attention span, is that it doesn't, if it doesn't grab my attention, I'm not going, if I didn't like the first 10 minutes, I'm not going to go through 2 hours to hopefully I'd like the rest of it. So I think that's what people need to understand, that we need to stop latching on to what it used to be and be entertained by movies. That's what they're made for. Be entertained.
I agree with that. I also agree with the fact that a lot of people forget that, like, for example, like Avengers Endgames, it was a buildup of how long? Since 2008 until
It was 10
all the
years.
way to, it was 10 years of buildup to get to that one movie. So of course they're going to come up with new things and new characters and all that stuff. I also think that people have a hard time with change, just in general. And then at the same time,
I
like,
thought you said Justin. I was like, damn, girl, calm down. You don't have to throw him under the bus like that.
Just people in general don't really enjoy change. I feel like they freak out whenever something different happens. And that's just people in general, and that's okay. We like consistency. That's a lot of humans are like that. Most humans are like that. And then you have the one thing I don't understand, though, it's like for people that watched shows like She-Hulk and they start complaining about the CGI, who gives a shit? It's not real. You'll never see a She-Hulk in real life. You'll never see an actual Hulk in real life. It's made up. So I don't care if you make it wonky.
Now,
I'm
speaking of
wonky.
Know what I
CGI,
mean?
speaking of CGI though, and since we mentioned Fantastic Four, the Silver Surfer.
So we can so let's kind of segue into the Fantastic Four trailer, because
That was a great segue.
it was a good trailer, but I agree with Yadi. Silver Surfer was so bad.
And now the funny thing is that we actually can compare the CGI for this one with the older
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, because we did see a Silver Surfer, which was pretty cool. I'm not sure if it's just because it's a trailer. I mean, it's not gonna be the end of the world, of course. Well, for them, I guess it is, because Galactus. But still, they could have done a little better with that. But that's not gonna change the way I see the movie or anything. It's just a little. She-Hulk was better than that, actually.
I still don't give a shit. It's not like an actual Silver Surfer is not going to come out of the sky ever. Probably,
but here's the thing.
probably ever. So I don't care. Somebody made this up in their brain.
But here's the thing. I think that things like that, like the Silver Surfer, going back and seeing that CGI, the imperfections weren't as noticeable because of the quality of the movie.
That's also possible. Yeah, absolutely.
Of the TVs and the time that it was made. Yes, you see a new movie now, or an old movie in a new TV, you're like, this was garbage. But I bet that if you watch the exact same movie in an old TV, it looks normal to you. You don't pick it apart because the details on it are not noticeable.
No, but
everything's blended in.
But in this case, that Silver Surfer looked better.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like if you see
this trailer in 4K and that Silver Surfer looked horrid.
So let's hope that they prematurely showed the Silver Surfer before it was completely done.
That could be a thing. The movie's almost out in the corner, but hopefully, like in the comments, Abe Torres mentioned like story wise. Hopefully, this one will be good.
Right.
Hopefully, they're gonna do better with how they're going with all the movies, and still people are gonna pick it apart regardless.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about it at this point. Like I
I
said,
mean, we don't know
overall the
anything yet.
trailer was overall the trailer was decent. I like the trailer. The things look was good. Like they do a fantastic job of capturing Jack Kirby's look for him, but the voice doesn't really measure up to the character.
Right. No, I understand that.
They could have like synthesized his voice maybe to be a bit deeper, or he could have tried to do what Michael Chiklis did in the original Fantastic Four movies.
Not like Christian Bale and Batman. I'm Batman.
No, but you know what I'm talking about. What Michael Chiklis tried to do, at least, for the Thing's voice. And like, okay, and then the retro futuristic look was really cool. The costumes are good, but honestly, I would have preferred if they had gone with Jack Kirby's like darker blue with the black gloves and boots and things like that. What little they showed of Galactus was actually kind of cool. The boots look really good. Leaning into the look and the feel from the Fantastic Four comic, which was the best part. And here's where I'm probably going to draw a lot of groans and piss people off. But honestly, the decision that they made, which was incredibly stupid, was the female Silver Surfer. If you are going to go with a Galactus storyline, there's no point you should not have gone with the female Silver Surfer. And before anybody says anything, because I'm going to finish my point, yes, I understand that before anybody says, "Oh, it was part of the comics," I'm aware of the comics, the alternate universe Earth X series from the Alex Ross run. The character named Shalabal, who is voiced by Julia Garner. Yes, it came from the comics. It doesn't mean it was a good character. If you are going to go with the Galactus storyline from what was it? Fantastic Four issue 48, 49, and 50, The Coming of Galactus. Arguably one of the best comic book stories written. If you are going to go with that storyline, you need the original Silver Surfer, the real Silver Surfer. Simple as that.
Is your point made?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I do understand, but here's the problem. Here's the problem. People want original story from the comic books, but when they do, it's also a problem. They should have given us something new. It's always going to be like that. There's always going to be a problem with anything that they make. Like I said, if they would have brought something straight out of the comics or one storyline, people are going to say, well, they should have brought this storyline. No, they should have brought this storyline. And then when what the MCU has been doing, they take parts from the best storylines they've had. This is because that's what they did for the first 10 years. They mesh all these storylines to make a new one. People had a problem with that too. This is not true to the comic books. Well, some parts are.
And yet you still had more people showing up for those first 10 years watching these
because there was something new,
and you were making money off of it. So it was still for the most part true. It was still for the most part true to the comics. You start moving away from that, going through phases 4 and 5 and going into phase 6. This is what happens when you start changing shit to appease the modern audience. The modern audience, mind you, that doesn't give a shit about comic books and superheroes and stuff like this, that don't go to see these movies. So when you try to appease the modern audience, you are going to lose money. But it's gotten to the point where I just don't think they care. And now the vast majority of the audience that you've pushed away don't care anymore. You had all of his, and this is the thing, you seemed to turn that around when you dropped Deadpool and Wolverine, because of the amount of money that made, everybody enjoyed that movie and people came out in droves to see it. But you pissed away all that momentum that you had with Daredevil and Captain America Brave New World. And now it's back to just complete apathy, where the people that are the biggest fans of these comics that want to see these stories are not even going to bother. They just don't care anymore. And so these movies are not going to make money. And
Javi Torres is yelling at you on the comment.
Huh?
He's all caps.
Oh, well. It doesn't matter. It's a simple and undeniable fact. It is
no, but and I see his point. I see his point that the OG films, there were stories that were from the comic books, and people still didn't go watch them. Does that make sense? Because it was pre-MCU. The MCU is what got everything together, because there were solo movies. People didn't care about that. They wanted a story that prolonged for 10 years. We wanted to see what was going to happen next. And that's why now it's why the Spider-Man movies are getting the love that they needed back in the day, but people hated them. Yeah, they made a lot of money, but people still complained a lot. The same thing happened to the prequels in Star Wars. People hated them. The older generation hated them. And now the generation that watched them when we were kids, which is our generation, we love those movies. And the same thing is going to happen with the same thing is happening with the MCU. We were a lot younger when these movies started. It was something new-ish that we wanted to watch and we grew up with, and it felt new. Now we watch it. Now we're watching almost the same thing, and we're like, give me something new. And again, Justin, not you, but a lot of people are like, give me something new. And I can't stress this enough. Give me something new. We get something new. Oh, I didn't like that. Give me something old. Oh, this is old. I don't like that.
I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of the problem with this type of entertainment is I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. Well, you get what you get, and you either eat it or you don't. It's really that's the bottom line. Or that's how it used to be. Now they're trying to do a lot of fan service, and it's like, okay, then you get this inclusion, you get that inclusion, you get this thing. Now it's no longer accurate. Well, now you're pissing this person off. Now you're pissing everybody off. You got entertainment. You paid for entertainment. You got entertainment.
Right.
If it wasn't to your entertainment, it was to somebody else's. If it wasn't to theirs, it was to somebody else's. But I want doesn't really get us anywhere. We're not the one making these movies. We're not the ones going and working on them. We're not the ones doing all of this stuff and spending money on, the production part of it. So I think I want doesn't really get us anywhere. At the end of the day, I want has gotten us this far in regards to, well, now everybody thinks it's shit. So let's see what they come out with. Let's just, in general, tame our expectations, go in with no expectations if necessary. If I'm entertained, then I'm entertained. I enjoyed it. Cool, fantastic. If I didn't, then it wasn't for me.
And the thing about the MCU is that we didn't have that. We didn't have I want this, I want that.
They just gave it to us and we enjoyed it.
And now they created a monster. They created a monster of we have these movies and they have to live up to that expectation. And it goes back to a lot of the videos that I've made that people like to watch what other people had to say about the movie before they go into the movies. Now they have this predetermined bias if I'm going to like it or not. And I stop watching all these spoiler reviews before I go to movies because I just get pissed off because I don't enjoy movies anymore. When I
That's
can
what I
just
mean. It's like we watched a trailer and now we've picked apart the entirety of the movie, a whole an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours off of a 2.5 minute trailer.
right.
That's what I mean with the tampering of expectations. Is we just let's see where it goes.
Right. And I completely understand your point of view, Justin. I get everything you're saying. One thing that I have to disagree is if I would agree with the whole female Silver Surfer if it was a completely new character, no backstory, no previous story, no nothing. They adapted a previous character that already existed into a new storyline. I'm okay with that. Personally, I'm okay with that. I don't really care if it's a male or female Silver Surfer from whatever timeline it is. As long as it fits what they're trying to tell me, I don't care. And that's just me.
Also, one word, multiverse.
Well, it's like
They
Trey
can do whatever they
said.
want.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like Trey said that they're possibly, going to change that when they jump into a different universe, which most likely will happen. We'll see. That's why I'm saying, like, we're picking apart this entire movie off of a 2.5 minute trailer. Let's just see where it goes. We haven't actually seen the movie.
It's not even out yet.
It's not even out yet.
I'm saying what I'm saying based on being a comic fan and knowing what I know from the comics. And yes, I understand that the female Silver Surfer is from the comics, but it's also a short-lived run that wasn't very popular and didn't sell. Like legitimately, and what they're doing, and I've said this before, what they're doing with Spider-Man right now in the comics. The fact, you have that piss poor storyline, One More Day, and that just as terrible follow-up, Brand New Day, which is the namesake for the movie, which basically destroyed the Spider-Man character to the point where it's like, this is not what comic fans want. And it's not selling because you basically ripped apart one of the biggest comic book relationships ever, split up Mary Jane and Peter Parker, and you're continuing along in that and basically just spitting in the face of comic book fans, while you have your alternate versions, Ultimate Spider-Man, which have that relationship intact, where he is married, they are married with 2 kids, and it's a better storyline and continues to outsell the main timeline crap that Marvel Publishing is giving us.
But on that same note, don't you think that people maybe they don't like the new because they're used to
The old?
Because they're Mary Jane is known, or Peter Parker and Mary Jane are known to be together. That is what people have always known. That's what we saw in the movie. We barely see Gwen Stacy in the first trilogy, and then we see her. We don't see MJ at all in the second installment. We just see Gwen Stacy. So I think it goes back to that. I think it goes back to people being so used to the old that they don't want change, but at the same time want change. But I understand.
The classic storylines are always going to sell better than the new stuff. It's at this point, it's simple economics when it comes to comic book storylines, and even when you're trying to adapt this stuff into movies.
But are you talking about just Marvel? Because DC, the new 52 timeline is way better than the original timeline.
But also, like,
the comic books.
sorry, I'm gonna interrupt here because this one, I wanna debate this one. Comic books used to be about creativity, not economics. It used to be about world building. It used to be about giving people superpowers. It used to be about all this stuff that it's outside of the
I
norm and
understand
outside
that.
of your day to day, but it's
I
not about
understand that.
economics.
I understand that, but that's not what I'm talking about. If they're not, if the people who read your comics and are buying your comics do not want to see this new world that you're trying to build, they're not going to buy the comics. How many times? And the perfect example would be Captain Marvel. They've rebooted Captain Marvel over half a dozen times. And maybe if you're lucky, the first issue of each of those reboots sells 100,000, maybe 120,000 copies. And after that, it falls off a cliff. They don't like the character. They don't like the stories. So they're not going to buy it.
But they
Amazing
bought the first
Spider-Man has
one
not sold.
of
Huh?
every single one. They bought the first one, so they're
Right.
trying to give it a
Okay.
try.
Maybe this will be different, but no, they reboot it going in the same stupid ass direction with the same bullshit narrative choices that they're making. And people just completely tune out. They're just like, no, we're done with this. We're not gonna do it. But then they do it all over again. Oh, okay, maybe this time will be different. And it's just a repeat of the same stuff. And so Amazing Spider-Man, it's a big part of why Amazing Spider-Man has not sold well. And Ultimate Spider-Man has been out, like I said, it's outselling Amazing Spider-Man at every turn.
Yeah, but you got to think about how many people are actually buying comics nowadays. You know, like before it used to be a thing, but nowadays
Yeah.
it might be like 30% of the people that go to watch the movies that actually read the comics. More of the fans nowadays are actually based on because they watch the shows, because they have seen the movies and want to continue watching. So a lot of people don't really read the comics, so I don't think they can see the numbers. They know how much they're selling, and they can make the determinations based on that, like what direction they're gonna go. So
Yeah,
it
but even that audience has been dwindling. Especially since Phase 4 started, that audience has been going lower and lower every single property that comes out.
then the other factor too about like the audience and the people that watch the shows and whatnot in Disney Plus got way more expensive. A lot of people are not paying for it unless they have a bundle and whatnot. People are canceling all the subscriptions, so they might not see the numbers there, but people might go to the movies, you know?
I honestly think if the stories had been worthwhile, it would probably be enough to convince people to stay on because because if the stories kept people engaged, then you would have those numbers and those subscriber numbers would be up. Like honestly, if Daredevil Born Again had been the kind of story that it really should have been to draw people back in, it would have boosted subscriber numbers. But it didn't. Nobody resubscribed. It didn't gain anything. If anything, it lost more. Disney Plus continues to bleed subscribers. People just don't care anymore. And yeah, the people not it being more expensive and people not wanting to spend money doesn't help either. So it's like those two on top of each other, you're not giving people a reason to want to subscribe. And I honestly, I wish it was just Marvel. Star Wars is going down that same path as well. I looked at it. Huh?
Yeah. I said, no, I agree.
Yeah, Star Wars is going down that exact same path. Like literally, I looked at a lot of what came out of, and that also segues into our our next topic being Star Wars Celebration. I looked into what we were getting out of Star Wars Celebration, and it's like there's really nothing. There's nothing to be excited about. Like, and I understand. I know, Lewis, you're excited about the Darth Maul series. And I'm somewhat optimistic of that one because Sam Witwer is involved in the writing process. So I want to see good things from that. But that's
I also heard it's animated.
Oh yeah. It's an animated show, so they can do a lot more. But at the same time, if the writing, as long as the writing's there, then you've got something good, something that you can build off of, and what have you. But everything else is just, and what's it. This is another thing with like Star Wars Celebration and all the stuff that they announce from those events. Half that stuff doesn't even come out. Like they'll announce that stuff and then you'll be waiting 2-3 years down the line for when they're supposed to come out, and nothing ever shows up. Like I think they had to fight 2-3 years after the initial announcement of the Acolyte to actually get that series out, and it wound up being an absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah, but Kathleen Kennedy's not there anymore, so.
Oh no, she's still there.
Yeah, well, she's out the door.
She's still president of the company, and there was a recent interview that stated that she's not going anywhere. This was recent, and so I literally have no faith that, because she and I think it was an interview from like a couple of months ago. Like she will eventually retire, but she's like, I want to go out on a win. There's no way. There's no way unless she wants to take credit for season 2 of Andor, which is literally the only thing I'm excited for right now, which actually the first 3 episodes just dropped tonight. So I'm going to watch those. I'm going to watch those tomorrow, and you two
I got to watch the first 3 of the first season still.
Oh yeah.
Well, have to watch the first season altogether.
Got so many shows going on right now.
Seriously though. Yeah,
the way my bank account is set up
takes 3 days.
Quit making excuses. Quit making excuses.
I'm gonna have a wedding this weekend.
Excuses. No, but I'm serious though. Like I understand your opinion on it based on the first 3 episodes that you saw so far, because it wasn't really the best show in terms of pacing from the first 3 episodes. But it really does start to pick up and become really, really good going into those next few storylines for the rest of the season, and especially those last 3 episodes. Incredible story.
If there's no lightsabers, it's not Star Wars for me. I said it.
The only reason why I will eventually watch it is just to support another Hispanic actor.
Yeah,
that's it.
I'm not gonna follow that up with anything, because honestly, it really shouldn't be about much more than the writing and the way they plan out and write these characters, because that's how they draw people in. Like, you want to have these engaging characters and good storylines to draw people in and keep them engaged. If you can do that, you're gonna build something really, really good. And I'm waiting to see, because from what their plan is at this point is they're going to release 3 episodes every week for the next 4 weeks, for 12 episodes total. And it's going to jump from like between time periods leading up to the beginning of Rogue One. And so you're going to see a lot of characters from Rogue One coming into the series. I would assume halfway through towards the end. So we'll see where those characters come in and how that all goes. But I'm actually fairly excited for what we're going to get in season 2.
I'm glad you are. No, and I hope you enjoy it. I really do. And I hope it's like the best show you've ever seen. I'm not excited for it.
Well, I mean, that's why I want you to actually go through and just binge the first season completely, at least from episode 4 to the end of the first season, because I think you would enjoy it.
I'll make you a deal. I'll watch the first season if you watch Daima, so we can fucking talk about it.
Oh, I plan on watching Daima. That's a given.
When?
That's a given.
Justin, even I watched Daima. What the fuck?
Okay.
I haven't. Whenever they come out with a dub it,
We can't read?
No.
We had this conversation.
I read all day at work, so I don't want to read when
To be
I'm
entertained.
doing nothing. Yeah, just tell me this stuff. Don't make me read. The fuck?
They'll
Not
make
reading a
me
book.
work for it.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's one reason why I don't read books. So
What what streaming service was that on again? So I can
Netflix, Hulu.
Netflix
Hulu.
and
Okay.
Hulu.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. That makes it simple.
Yeah, you got 2.
No, I know. That makes it simple.
Yeah.
Like I said, I will at some point watch it.
You can watch it with ads or without.
Yeah. Pretty much.
That's up to you. So, all right. Is there anything else that we can fight about this episode?
I loved it.
Yeah, no, this was a great episode. I love the friction. I love how we didn't agree on everything. Because I feel like we always agree on, like, at least on the majority of things. We had Abby Torres, like, fired up. And I appreciate everything that you said on there. You kept it, like,
He was mad, but he
respectful.
was nice about it.
Yeah, he was respectful.
Sorry. They were mad, but they were nice about it. I don't know if
Yeah.
girl.
Well, no, I mean, but that's the thing that, like, you don't.
They were mad.
You
They
don't.
were mad. All caps, baby.
It's a thing. It's a thing that you don't see as often as you'd like with, opposing sides trying to have conversations. Is that there's too much. There gets to be too much animosity, and it basically detracts from the conversation. And just like when you devolve into like mudslinging and stupid shit like that,
Right.
then that's kind of when I tune out, because it's like, okay, you can have that conversation with two opposing sides without getting into all of that extra unnecessary bullshit.
And then I love when you start arguing with somebody and then they immediately switch to start attacking you personally. It's like, at that point, I know I won the argument because now you steered off to something else. However, Justin, everything you said, I would agree with you, but then we both be wrong. So
Yeah.
I'm not doing
Your
that.
points are valid, but also I still don't like it. No, I'm kidding.
But
Alex
you guys,
got that.
no,
Huh?
fuck that.
Alex got that. All that shit.
But with that being said, you guys have anything else? Justin, get that voice ready. All right, guys, we have come to the end of the episode. If you want to connect with all of us, make sure you click on all of our things. Justin, where can they find us?
You fucked up.
Yeah, man. What the hell was that? You completely screwed that up, man.
I need to rewrite that. I need to write it so I don't have to like
Come up with it on the spot.
Yeah.
Let's go with this. Follow us on all of our social platforms through the links in the description. The link tree is your one-stop shop for all things nerdy. So hit us up down there. That's what she said. And click all the things. Join our incredible community. We look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you. You know what messed me up? Starting with Justin, get that voice ready. I literally just start and then let you get messed up. But I try to set it up for you in a nice bow and I screw it up. With that being said,
damn it.
Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. I don't know what else to say except for see you next week.
Bye. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye, bitches.